Hey, it's Mustang Stampede in the garage today. I know it's kind of like became a variety channel. I don't really care. But today we're looking at the 2010 Toyota Corolla. You'll see that I've had many updates on this vehicle in the past. It has 194,000 plus miles, not yet 195K. But I drove this as a daily driver for quite some time. Then my wife drove it as a daily driver. Then we gave it to our daughter when she turned 16 to drive through high school. And she drove it through high school, and she's now in college, getting ready to start her second year of college, and the alternator has went out at 194K. How do I know the alternator went out? I see some videos talking about replacing this alternator, installing the alternator, but some of them lack telling you how you know. Well, first off, she calls and says, "Dad, the battery light has came on in the car when I was driving home from the gym today." I was like, "Okay, I'll take a look at it." So I had her pull into the garage. I grabbed a voltmeter, put it to the 20 volt setting. With the car off, the battery read 12.6 or 12.7 volts, okay? I had her start the car with nothing on, and the battery read like 11.8, 11.9. As soon as she turned the headlights on, it went to 11.6. When she turned the headlights with the AC, it went to 11.4, okay? That is not charging anymore. With the car running, that battery should be reading upper 13 volts to 14 volts because it's in a charging mode from the alternator. Okay, when this car is running and it's only getting 11 volts, eventually this battery is going to die. She might have made it to work today, I don't know, but we're going to go ahead and replace the battery. So we're going to replace the alternator. I'm going to go over some quick things and I'll make a part 2 with the actual stuff. First, you're going to disconnect the battery, okay? It's a 10 millimeter, red side, okay? You're then going to disconnect the ground strap and the receptacle right there. We're going to go ahead and get this cover out of the way, which I already have my lovely piece of wood that I use to hold tools. We'll take that plastic cover out of the way so it's out of the way, right? And then there's going to be 2 bolts on the alternator itself, okay? Then there's going to be 2 bolts for the bracket that tension your belt. I have only changed the spark plugs and added transmission fluid to this, replaced batteries, tires, and replaced the brakes a few times, the tires a few times, and 1 battery, okay? So the car has been great, but I've never replaced the belt. So while I'm at it, I'm gonna go ahead and replace the belt, right? I'm on the alternator, I'll go ahead and replace the belt. So once I get everything ready, I'll pick the video back up as part 2, but right now that's kind of what we're going over. How do we know the alternator was bad? Because we tested it with to see if it was charging the battery or not, and it was not. Right, and then just some basics here, and then we're gonna do some cleanup here and get this cover out of the way and start disassembling. Then we'll go to the parts store. It does have a cord charge here locally, $55 cord charge. So instead of making 2 trips, I'm gonna go ahead and make 1. I'm gonna take that alternator with me in the Toyota Tundra. So let me get started and I'll come back with part 2. Thanks for watching. So we got the plastic cover off. I've kind of relocated my little board. All right, 10 millimeter. Positive is off so we don't get shock or zap anything over here and short anything out. So we've taken that off with a 10 millimeter and set it to the side. All right. Next up, we're going to get a flathead and we're going to go ahead and pop this off. We're going to disconnect this. There is another wire harness bolt right there that needs to come off. So let me gather up the things that I need to do that. So picking up where we left off right here, we got another 8 millimeter bolt for that ground strap. Let me get that out of the way, and then I'm going to go ahead and take this connection off. So the 8 millimeter nut was on there, and then I'm just gonna, this has 2 tabs on each side, so you just press them between your thumb and index finger, and we're gonna just tuck them out of the way right here, behind this radiator line, so they're not in our way anymore, okay? All right, so that's where we're at, and now we're gonna go ahead and, I believe we can go ahead and loosen this one right here. Actually, the next step was this 10 millimeter bolt on the wiring harness that holds the wiring harness to this alternator. All right, so now we'll tackle the next ones. Let me get the size measurement. All right, and then we'll pick it back up. All right, so the next one is this one right here. It's 14 millimeter. Okay, I've seen someone say it was 15 millimeter, but it's 14. It's a little tough. I did use a larger wrench with a 14 on it right here, and it just barely goes past the pulley right here to actually get enough torque on it to get it started. Okay, so I'm using a gear wrench now to just finish getting that all the way out. Okay, then we're going to come back up here and disconnect. Oops, it's actually the wrong one. We're going right here, which I've already loosened this. This is the bolt that holds the bracket on, and then we're going to take this whole bracket off. So the only bolts that actually hold the alternator in is right here, which is once you set your tension, you tighten this down to lock that tension in place. And then that 14 millimeter right there, okay? So I'm gonna get this the rest of the way out of here, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Now we have the bracket out of the way, so it'll be a little easier to finish off this 14 millimeter down at the bottom. So let me get that out, and then we're gonna undo the belt. I'm gonna need to take a picture real quick of the belt and just kind of mentally note the routing of the belt. That way when I put the new belt on, that I don't reroute it the wrong way. So I'm gonna do that as well, and then this alternator's coming out. All right, so the belt is going to travel from the alternator around the crank, okay, and then it goes around that edge, goes down around the AC and comes back around like an idlerly pulley, which is probably like a water pump pulley, which is smooth. Then it comes back to the ribbed section of the alternator, right, and then goes back smooth side to that pulley right there underneath the alternator, then back to the AC. So only 4 pulleys, not super complicated, but it's always nice to know that routing in case it's not labeled. You know, some of the V8 cars have the routing label right here because the belts are going to be right here. So I don't actually see a label on this one. So anyway, I made note of that, and now we'll get this alternator out of here. All right, that 14 millimeter on the bottom of the alternator is a mile long. Took forever to get it out of there. So now it's just pivoting on this right here. So you can use a screwdriver right there and like pry the alternator up, but I'm just gonna see if it won't come out because it felt like it might come out fairly easy. Or not. So I'm gonna put that screwdriver on there like so and just try and pry it up some here. I've seen a lot of people really fighting with these things, but it's really shouldn't be that damn difficult to come off. So now you see I'm unseated there. So let's see if I can't get it with one hand now. Alright, that's a no. Give me 1 second here. I did see people say that it also was a tight fit up against this air intake, so I now have it out. It did pop. And instead of fighting it, I'm just going to bring it over and out. Hopefully right here. Get around that hose. And there she is. So it seems like it should be good. I don't hear no noises, but it definitely wasn't putting anything out. So anyway, time to go to the auto parts store after dinner, and we'll put the new one in, and we'll go ahead and look again. Right here's where that 14 millimeter was. Okay, we have the bracket that holds the tension, which is right there. It's come off. Okay, we got the wiring harness nut that holds the wiring harness, then the 2 connections that go to your alternator, which are right here, the grounding and the plug. All right, so again, it looks like it's a DENSO. This was a 2010 Toyota Corolla with 194K. You can't beat these kinds of cars where, I mean, this is the first major thing that has to come off this car. It's excellent. All right, so I'll pick this back up for the install. As always, thanks for watching. All right, so I'm back from the auto parts store. Got the new remanned alternator here. All right, I went ahead and got a brand new Serpentine belt, like I said I was going to. And so install is basically going to be the reverse. I'm going to go ahead and get the belt over the pulleys that I can reach better with the alternator out. Then I'm going to put the alternator in and get that bolt in. That way it will pivot back and forth. Then I'll get the bracket and everything installed and tighten it down. Okay, so again, it's just reverse order. And I'll pick up the video if there's any helpful tips here. So first things first is going to be that longer 14 millimeter bolt going through here as soon as I get that belt routed. All right, so the new alternator is in after 2 trips to the auto parts store. All right, so I recommend your bottom bolt. I've seen videos that said the bottom bolt is a 15 millimeter. Mine was a 14 millimeter. I've seen other people say 14 millimeter. The first alternator I got was at Advanced Auto. I got it, I brought it home, went to install it, and the bottom bolt would not install into that alternator. I did not want to strip that factory bolt. I did clean the threads and everything and tried to make it work, and it wouldn't work. So I had to go back to the auto parts store. Then Advanced Auto didn't have any extras on hand, so then I had to get a return. Then I had to go to AutoZone and get this one. I don't really care where they come from as long as they work. So yeah, I recommend that you take your bottom bolt with you and make sure that it will actually screw in to the bottom hole down there, which is right here and over there. So take your bolt with you. Other than that, everything else went back in easy. 12 millimeter, okay, another 12 millimeter, and another 12 millimeter. All right, I did put the new Serpentine belt on. A little hard to see, but it's on there now. See that new? All right, I didn't realize I didn't have the light on. So new Serpentine belt, new alternator. All right, so now 10 millimeter. Put on that ground strap, plug that in, connect the battery over there. Good to go. All right, I'm going to combine all these videos into one so you have one nice video. Hopefully that is not too long. If you have any comments or questions, leave them below. I'll try to get to them as I can, and I hope this video helps someone actually kind of see what's going on and how to test to make sure you needed that alternator, right? I've seen a few people say, well, I replaced my battery and then it was still dying, then I replaced my alternator, and then I'm checking fuses if something's wrong. Like, that's totally not the way you want to troubleshoot a vehicle, right? First things first, if you know about alternator, you need to put a load on that alternator to see if it's dropping the charge, right? And it's the easiest way to do. So make sure you do a little bit of troubleshooting in the right order. It's always helpful. And then anyway, that's going to be the garage video for this week. Thanks for watching.